विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुश्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगगन रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सखगन ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्णा सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita. So now, every Saturday evening, US time, and Sunday morning, India time, we are studying in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We finished 28 slokas in the 4th chapter. That is titled as Transcendental Knowledge. So in this chapter, Krishna is giving us a lot of knowledge about the yajna, basically about the different types of yajna. That's what we studied last week. And also, like why Krishna came to this world, why Krishna descends millennium after millennium, yuge. So that also we understand very clearly. Because when Arjuna asked Krishna that how am I to understand that you gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan in the beginning, so Krishna said very clearly that to establish the principles of dharma, the righteousness, so to whenever there is a decline in the principles of dharma, so at that time I descend myself. That's what Krishna said, that to protect the pious and annihilate the miscreants and to establish the principles of dharma, I descend millennium after millennium. So Krishna said that Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. So when Krishna comes here, Krishna gives this knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita knowledge for us, so that we can understand this knowledge, so that we can use this knowledge and get out of the material miseries, to free ourselves from all the material sufferings, just by using this Bhagavad Gita knowledge. So when Krishna comes here, Krishna is actually created so many pastimes. So if we are able to understand Krishna's those divine pastimes, those divine activities, those divine karma, and also Krishna's birth is also divine. So that's what is divyam. Krishna is using the word divyam. So janma karma cha me divyam. If we just understand all such things, that's enough for us. If we understand the tattva, the reason, the fact, the philosophy, the truth, that why Krishna come to this world and all such things about Krishna, if we understand very well, so then we will be able to go to Krishna's well. So Krishna is saying that when we give up this body, tyaktva degam, punarjanma nayati, punarjanma naiti, punarjanma naiti, mameti. So naiti, mameti. So we won't come here because we will go to Krishna's well. Mameti so Arjuna. So that way, From Bhagavad Gita, we understand Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also from Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand about Krishna's, the nature of Krishna's divine appearance and activities and everything, especially the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which has got 90 chapters, all about Krishna's pastimes. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, we understand so much about Krishna. We understand Krishna is teaching us very, very clearly in Bhagavad Gita about ourselves and about himself also, about the super soul, about Krishna himself. In the 7th chapter, which is titled as the knowledge of the absolute. So in fact, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all the 6 chapters, we are understanding only about Krishna only, completely about Krishna. So if we go through all these slokas here in each and every chapter and go through and understand all the slokas, so we not only know about ourselves, but we also will know about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna also fully, beyond any doubt, beyond any confusion. Because we know for sure, without any doubt, that Krishna is the Supreme Person. We will be able to accept that fact just based on the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So we will be able to understand, we will be able to realize that Krishna is the ultimate, Krishna is the Supreme Person from Bhagavad Gita. Everything is based on Bhagavad Gita. Everything is based on the slokas in Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita itself is coming from Krishna, is given by Krishna, this knowledge. So this is the song of God. So in this knowledge, Krishna is teaching about karma also. Karma means the activities what we do. We have material body. The soul has got this material body. The soul is forced to accept this material body in this material world. Once the soul is inside this material body, so the material body is developing, has developed within our mother's womb, and when it comes out, the body is there. First with the neural tube, and then all those things, our forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, everything forms, and then everything else, all those things, of course, heart forms. So then heart starts pumping the blood. So all those things. So within our body, so if our body is produced. So when our body is produced, the soul is inside this body, and when we are delivered, when we come out, we are able to move our legs and hands. But of course, when we are born, we cannot do anything. So we need the help. So we cannot do anything. We are totally helpless. So at that time, parents take care of us and others take care of us. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, so when we are able to then turn around, then we are able to then crawl, then we are able to walk, then when we are able to run. So then when we are getting some knowledge in this world, everything about ourselves. So everything means about the material world, the knowledge about the material world. So then automatically by Maya, we are because of our attachment to the material sense objects, we are just forced to act. That's what is happening. We are just forced to act. We are not free. But when we get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then we are able to make use of this human body, which takes years to develop. So now we have got such a full-blown body, human body, with human brain. We can understand, we can ask the question about ourselves. We can ask that who am I? Who am I? What is the purpose of life? What is the goal of life? And where will I go after my death? What is going to happen after my death? All these various questions we can ask in this human body only. Animals cannot ask. Any other living beings cannot ask. Only a human can ask this question. So if we are very intelligent, then we should ask this question. About the question about who am I and why am I suffering? Why I am suffering in this way? That's a very important question. We need to realize the fact that we are struggling in this material world. We are suffering in this material world. So who am I? So for all these questions, answers are very, very clearly given in Bhagavad Gita. So we are forced to act. So we have karmendriyas, we have jnanendriyas to gain the knowledge, karmendriyas to act, to perform the activities. We also need sometimes jnanendriyas when we do the act. Of course, we need our eyes all the time. When we are acting, we want our eyes should be open. We cannot do any activity by closing our eyes. Many of the activities what we are doing, the karma, the duties, what we are doing, by closing our eyes we cannot do. And also many of the activities also by losing the touch sensation we cannot do. For example, when we are doing the activity of driving a car, so we have to touch the we have to touch the steering, we have to touch the brake and accelerator and everything we need to touch with our legs and with our hands, and we have to see. So that is an activity of driving. So we are using our jnanendriyas and karmendriyas also to perform the activities, to do the work, to do our duty. So when we are eating also, that is an activity. We need to touch the food, we need to taste the food. We need to do all those things with our karmendriyas, with our hands. We need to go and take the food, grab the food and keep inside our mouth. So all these things, basically these indriyas, these senses are working, and we are under the control of these senses, under the control of this mind. So we are acting like a robot, just by the three modes of material nature. They are just driving us. So we are acting like a robot, means we are yantra, we are a machine. Robot is a machine. So we are forced to act, we are forced to work in this material world. And Krishna is very clearly teaching us that when we do any such work for our own sense gratification, then we are going to be bound by the results of our activities. That's what the knowledge, what we are getting from Bhagavad Gita. We will be bound. When we are bound by the results of the activities, so that means the more and more activities we do with attachment to the results, that means we are getting ourselves more and more entangled in this material world. So then it will be very difficult for us to get out of this world. So right now, we should make a decision with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. With the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we should use this life, this human life, this human body, which is so special, which is very rare to get it. And we have got this opportunity, and we should make the decision to actually act in such a way that it should not bind us. It should not bind us to this material world. It should liberate us from this material world. We should get out of this entanglement. That's what is very, very important. We should get out of this material entanglement. So that is going to be possible only with the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We are getting that knowledge. We are getting the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and using this knowledge in our life and doing everything as an offering unto Krishna. So then only it is possible for us to free ourselves from all this entanglement. So we need to cut them, all this bondage, we need to cut them into pieces. All these knots, all this bondage, we need to cut with the weapon of, that is weapon of knowledge, and also the weapon of detachment. So asanga sastram. Asanga sastrena dridena chitva. Many times I have quoted this sloka in the past. In the 15th chapter, Krishna is very clearly telling us that our attachments to this material world are very, very strongly rooted. Suviruda moolam. Suviruda moolam means the roots have become very, very strong. So very strongly rooted. We need to cut down all these attachments. We need to cut down all this attachment, all the roots to this material world. So then only we can liberate ourselves from this material bondage. We need to cut down. So narupamasyaga tatopalabhyate nato nachatigi nacha sampratishta asvattamenam suviruda moolam asanga sastrena dridena chitva. So this asvattamenam, this inverted banyan tree, so that roots have become very, very strong. So our attachment to this material world, our attachment to material sense objects, they have become very, very strong, and we need to cut down. We need to cut all of them. So that's why asanga sastrena dridena chitva. So while cutting all these roots, we should seek the place. Having gone, we will not come back here again. Tatat padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata nanivattanti bhuyaka. Yasmin gata. Yasmin gata means having gone there. Yasmin gata. Nanivartanti bhuyaga means we will not come back again. That's what nanivartanti bhuyaga. Yasmin gata nanivartanti bhuyaga means we will not come back again. Bhuyaga means again. Nanivartanti means will not come back. Yasmin gata means having gone there. So yasmin gata nanivartanti bhuyaga. Tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye tatat padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata nanivartanti bhuyaga tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatha pravritti prasriddha purani. So you should surrender unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead. So tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye. So Adi Purusham, the original person, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. We should surrender unto Him. Tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye tatat padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata nanivartanti bhuyaga tvameva chadyam purusham prapadye yatha pravritti prasriddha purani. So by whom this entire world is pervaded from time immemorial. So Purani. So that's what is Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We need to seek the place. We need to go to Krishna's place. And we need to go to Krishna's place means we need to meet certain qualifications. Only if we are eligible, only if we meet those qualifications, then we can go to Krishna. That's what is very important. So here, anything to obtain, there are qualifications needed. Without qualification, we cannot achieve. Even in this material world, even to these days, even to get a admission in some even schools, even elementary schools, sometimes they do, if it's a very competitive school, they keep all kinds of exams. Even they give interviews, they take interviews from the parents. Even parents have to be qualified for the child to be admitted in the school. So that way, here in this material world, even achieve material things, there are a lot of qualifications are needed. Any job when you apply, first thing is that what are the qualifications to apply for that job? Only if you meet those qualifications, then only you can apply for their job. Otherwise, you are not even eligible to apply for their job. So like that, to go to Krishna's place, to go to Krishna's world, so to achieve a life which is permanently blissful life, where there is no more death. Imagine your life. Imagine your life. There is no more death. We get a life. Anyhow, we are going to die, for sure. Every one of us are going to die. There is no doubt. We are all going to die. And we are also going to take birth again. That's also sure. Based on Bhagavad Gita, based on the science of Bhagavad Gita, it's very much sure. As Krishna says very clearly, Jantasya ki dhruvo mrityu, dhruvam janma mrittasya ja. So when a person is born, is sure to die. Similarly, when a person dies, is sure to born again. So, but imagine a life when we go and take birth in Krishna's world, where there is no more death. If we take birth again in this material world, then we are going to die again. But if we go and take birth in Krishna's world, then there is no more death. So that's what we should aim. We should aim to go to Krishna's place where there is no death. So for that, we need to meet those qualifications. What are those qualifications? Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma vidya vinivriddha kamaha dvandvaihi muktaga sukha dukkha samvaihi gacchantyamuda padamau vyayam tat. So these are the qualifications. These are the qualifications we need to get. Nirmana moha. So free from false prestige and illusion. That's what nirmana moha. Jita sanga dosa. That means free from, that means having conquered the Sangha, the attachment in this material well. That's what is our dosa. That's what is our mistakes, what we have in this well. So that's what Jita Sangha dosa. So being freed from false prestige and being freed from the attachment in this material well. That means attachment to material sense objects. Jita Sangha dosa. Adhyatma Vidya. So having the knowledge about ourself, having the knowledge that we are controlled by the three modes of material nature. So swabhavo adhyatma muchyate. So that's what our swabhava. So that's what adhyatma vidya. Vinivriddha kama. Vinivriddha kama means freed from all desires. Vinivriddha kama. So nirmana mogajita sangatosa adhyatma vidya vinivriddha kamaga dvandvaihi muktaga sukha dukkha samjaihi dvandvaihi muktaga, free from the dualities in this material world. Dvandvaihi muktaga sukha dukkha samjaihi. So being equal in both happiness and distress. That's what free from dualities. So if you meet all these qualifications, then gachanti amuda. So Krishna, and many times in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says muda, muda, muda. Fool, fool, fool. Mudatma, vimudatma. But here Krishna is saying amuda. Amuda means who is not a fool. So who is a devotee of Krishna, who has got the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, who understands very well that he is the soul, he is not the body. And so, Gachanti Amuda Padam Avyayam That. Avyayam means it is everlasting, indestructible, inexhaustible. So, you will go to the place which is permanent. That's what Gachanti Amuda Padam Avyayam Tat. That's what Krishna is teaching. So, in the 15th chapter, Krishna is teaching this very, very clearly that we need to achieve these qualifications to go to Krishna's well. If we have these qualifications, then we go to Krishna's well. That's what is very, very important. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered, who know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. We'll go to Krishna's way. So now Krishna's mercy, we know how to go to Krishna's way. That's what is very important. We need to achieve all these qualifications. That's what is very important. We need to achieve this qualification. How are you going to achieve all these qualifications? Once we meet all these qualifications, then we are eligible to go to Krishna's way. So without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we are fools. We just go after material sense objects. We lose this, well, everything. We are simply loser. At the end of our death, at the end of our life, we will be simply a loser. Nobody is going to gain anything in this material world other than Krishna's devotee who gets the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So only with Bhagavad Gita knowledge, when we are able to gain all these qualities, we are going to go to Krishna's way. So for that, we need to just study this Bhagavad Gita, understand it very well. So we are in the 4th chapter. We studied 28 slokas. As I said in the very beginning, every week, Saturday evening US time and Sunday morning India time, we are studying in the 4th chapter. We study 4 slokas. So let us study the sloka number 29 to 32 today. So in the 4th chapter. So Krishna is actually teaching us about different types of yajnas. That's what we studied earlier. So in the sloka number 28, we studied Krishna said it, Dravya yajnas, Tapo yajna, yoga yajnas, tata pare, swadhyaya jnana yajnas, chayata yaga samsita vrataga. So different types of yajnas. So dravya yajna means offering our material possessions in the fire. So dravya yajna, tapo yajna, that is the austerities. And then yoga yajna, that is performing the asanas, yoga asanas. So that's what is yoga yajna. Then swadhyaya jnana yajna. So jnana yajna. So yatayaga samsita vradaga. Then Krishna is continuing in the next chapter, next sloka, 29th sloka. Apane juhvati pranam prane panam tata pare pranapana gati rudva pranayama parayana apare niyatahara pranan praneshu juhvati. That's what Krishna is teaching us. Apane means the air which is going inward towards the lungs. So that's what is apane. Prane means the air which is coming outwards. So that's what is prana. Apana means going downwards. Prana means going outwards. So apane juhvati pranam. Apane juhvati pranam means, so those actually from apane, so the pranam, the outgoing air, they will offer into the incoming downward air. So the outward air into the downward air, and apane jugvadi pranam, prane apanam tatapare. Some others will prane apanam. So the outgoing air into the incoming air, so they offer. So basically, it is all in the when we do pranayama. That's what apare pranapana gatirutva, pranayama parayana. So others prana apane gatirutva, by both suspending both inward and outward air. So they will do pranayama. So pranayama is a very important technique. You should learn. Pranayama, everyone, I suggest you should do at least 10 minutes a day. Just 10 minutes only. Not at least, just 10 minutes. Not more than that, not less than that. You can easily do for 10 minutes. Pranayama. So it should be done as a part of the yoga. So pranayama, Surya Namaskara, and all such exercises like yogasana, if you do every day, just if you spend 30-40 minutes a day, or at least pranayama or Surya Namaskara maximum 30 minutes a day, you will feel so fresh actually. Because you are taking so much of oxygen to your brain. You will feel very, very fresh if you are able to do in the morning, especially after chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, if you are able to do. So in the pranayama, basically you will be closing one nostril, breathing in through one nostril, and then stopping the air and then closing. So the ratio of the time is 1:4:2. So 1:4:2 means you breathe in for example 4 seconds, and then you hold it for 16 seconds, and then you release it for 8 seconds through the other nostril, and then again through the other nostril you breathe in for 4 seconds and hold it for 16 seconds, and then release it from the next nostril for 8 seconds. So this, if you are able to do for 10 minutes every day, you will see a big difference. Even it is going to help a lot in controlling the mind. For example, you keep your fingers like this, like this, you keep it and sit straight, and then you just close this nose and then breathe in for 4 minutes. Breathe in and then 4 seconds, not 4 minutes. It's very difficult. 4 seconds, and then close it for 16 seconds. Then you release it from the other nose for 4 seconds, 8 seconds. And then again for 4 seconds, you breathe in, then close it for 16 seconds, and then release it for 8 seconds. So this is what is called pranayama. So if we do this pranayama, it will be just 10 minutes a day if you are able to do. It is going to bring you so much of freshness. You can actually serve Krishna better. In fact, to serve Krishna, this pranayama is very important. Surya Namaskara is very important. That's why Krishna is saying that prana apani. So prana apani. So prane apane juhvati pranam, prane apanam tatapare, pranapana gatirutva, pranayama parayana, apare niyattaharaga, pranan pranesu juhvati. So this is a way of doing this yajna. Out of all the yajnas, Krishna is teaching. Now the next one, Krishna is teaching in the next sloka number 13. Sarvepyete yajnavido yajnakshapita kalmashaga yajnasistamrutho bhujo yanti brahma sanatanam. Very nicely Krishna is teaching here. Sarvepyete yajnavido. By knowing all these different types of yajnas, we already studied very different types of yajnas. That's what sarvepyete yajnavido. Starting from this sloka number 25. Devam eva pare yajnam yoginaga paryupasate. Brahmagnau apare yajnam yajno naivopa juhvati. So some yogis perfectly worship the demigods by offering with different sacrifices to them, and some of them offer sacrifices in the fire of the Supreme Brahman. So especially we studied about the yajna, Shotradin Indriyanyanye Samyamagnisu Jugvadi, Sabdadin Visayananye Indriyagnisu Jugvadi. So Shotradini, Shotra means hearing. Some will actually, all the hearing, all the basically the sense, the Shotradini means the sense objects in the senses, in the fire of senses. So that's what Shotradin Indriyanyanye Samyamagnisu Jugvadi. Samyamagnis means the fire of sense control. Basically, all the process, starting from the hearing process, all the sense objects in the fire of sense control. So that's what Sotradin Indriyananye Samyamagnisu Jugvadi, Sabdadin Visayananye Indriyagnisu Jugvadi. Then all the sense objects in the senses itself, in the fire of senses. So some sacrifice the hearing process and the senses in the fire of mental control, and others sacrifice the objects of the senses in the fire of the senses. So then in the next sloka we studied in the 27, Sarvani Indriya Karmani Prana Karmani Chapare Atma Samyama Yogagno Jugvadi Jnana Deepiti. So others who are interested in achieving self-realization through the control of the mind and senses offer the functions of all the senses and of the life breath as oblations into the fire of controlled mind. So all these things, so we studied. So that's what Krishna is teaching in this sloka. Sarve pyete yajna vido. By knowing all these different types of yajnas and by performing all these yajnas, yajna kshapita kalmasaga. Kalmasaga means free from all sins. So we will be able to free ourselves from all sins. That's why in the 3rd chapter, Krishna taught us very clearly in the 3rd chapter, 9th sloka, all the work, yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaga. All the work, all the activities should be performed only as an yajna. Anything which is not performed as an yajna is going to bind us to this material world. So that means everything should be done as an offering unto Krishna. So yajna kshapita kalmasaka, yajna sista amrita bhujo. So by enjoying this sista amrita, amrita means the nectar. So yajna sista amrita bhuja. So one who is able to enjoy this nectar of this yajna, Yanti Brahma Sanathanam. He will enter into the Krishna's well. That's what Yanti Brahma Sanathanam. So he will be, that is the way to control our mind. That is the way to control our senses. So we need to perform every activity as an yajna, as an offering unto Krishna. So that's what in the sloka number 30, Krishna is teaching. And the sloka number 31 is just having only 2 lines. That's it. All these slokas, we have 4 lines, and some slokas are 6 lines, are like basically larger slokas. This is only 2 lines. Very clearly, Krishna is saying that Nayam lokosti ayagnasya kutonyaga kurusattama. So there is no world for anyone. So there is no place, there is no happiness for anyone in this world who is not performing their activities as yajna. Then what to speak of the next life, in this life itself. So Nayam lokosti ayagnasya. So there is no like, so the same way Krishna is also using Nayam lokosti. Krishna is saying that there is Agnyascha, Asraddhadanascha, Samsayatma, Vinasyati, Nayam lokosti, Naparo, Nasukam, Samsayatmana. We will study that sloka towards the end in the 4th chapter. So a person who is ignorant, Agnyascha, who has no knowledge, Asraddhadana, who has no faith, Samsayatma, a doubtful person, a person who is ignorant, no knowledge, and a doubtful person, for him there is no happiness in this world and in any world. He will not be happy. Same thing Krishna is teaching here is that Nayam lokosti ayagnasya. So here Krishna is saying, not saying that Agnyasya or Asraddhadana. Agnyasya means who has no knowledge. Asraddha means who has no faith. Here Krishna is teaching us Ayagnasya. Ayagnasya means who is not performing their activities as an yajna. That means not doing their activities as an offering unto Krishna. For him, there is no happiness in this world and in any world. So that's what Krishna is teaching. So we'll just finish with the next sloka, the sloka number 32. Yevam bahuvida yajna vitatta brahmano mukhe Karmajan vidditan sarvan yevam nyatva vimokshashe. So Brahmano here it refers to Vedas. Bahuvida means many types. Bahuvida yajna. So many types of these yajnas. So evam bahuvida yajna vitata brahmano mukho. Brahmano mukhe means they are all from the mouth of the Vedas. So that's what approved by the Vedas. So they are all. So karmajan vidhi tan sarvan. So karmajan means the work which is born. Karmajan, the born of work. So karmajan. So something which is born from the karma. Karmajan vidhi tan sarvan. So by knowing all these different yajnas, if anyone performs their work, that's what karmajan vidhi tan sarvan evam nyatva vimokshase. He will be liberated. So that's why all these different types of sacrifice are approved by the Vedas, and all of them are born of different types of work. Knowing them as such, you will become liberated. But for us, we need to do very important yajna, because Krishna is saying that yajnanam, in the 10th chapter we studied, yajnanam japa yajnosmi. That's what Krishna said. Of all the yajnas, I am japa yajna. Japa yajna is the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So if we just do that yajna every day very sincerely, the japa yajna, so then all other yajnas will automatically, it will do it. But definitely, I strongly recommend doing pranayama and Surya Namaskara every day. So only 30 minutes. So that is going to help you a lot in serving Krishna also. Hare Krishna. So by Krishna's mercy today, very successfully we finished 32 slokas in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we'll discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.